Hi class, this is Professor Rhonda Gregory and I'm happy to be with you for EDU544 Technology and Teaching as you work towards completing your MAT degree. I'm also an MAT grad from 2010 and I have used my education in that program tremendously over the last several years, both doing some teaching in public schools, summer school, and substituting, but primarily in my job here at Greenville College and in teaching in the program. I want to show you very quickly a few things about our class since it's fully online and give you an overview of how to find things and navigate our site here on D2L. The first thing I want to draw your attention to is the online learning agreement here. This is a link to an agreement that you need to complete by this stated deadline so that we have a record of your attendance, and that just equates to things going on with your financial aid packages and things like that. We have to report on everybody by a deadline to let them know who is in the class and who's not. So please make sure that you take care of that small item of business. Also pay attention to the different things that appear here under news, because I will also add additional news items throughout the course just to remind you about upcoming events, or send out reminders, give clarification if that's needed. It's just a good way for me to communicate to all of you in one setting and keep a list of those announcements as they come available. So be sure to look at the news items regularly when you log into our class. Below the news item is the content browser, and you can always use the links that are here on the page to get into specific weeks and assignments. I like to just click right here on the words content browser and let that open up and show me the entire table of contents for the class. Now, I don't have any date restrictions on your access to any of the course materials. I do have some dates in place on the specific assignments that they need to be done within the week they are assigned. But you'll be able to log in here, look at the content. There's some information here about me and my background, a little bit about my family to help you to get to know me a little bit. There's the syllabus. You can download that, print it, save it on your own computer, however you like to reference that, but it will just remain right there in place for you to be able to reference at any time in the class. This is an overview about our course-long project, the WebQuest, and an explanation of how that project will work. I'll let you read that as you have time, and let me know when you have questions. The way that I'll evaluate your WebQuest at the end of the course is using the rubric that's listed here. So that's in PDF format so you can see it and reference it as you're working. There's a link here to our our textbook companion site. So every week in the class there will be a chapter quiz, and by going to this companion site it may be helpful to you to do some of the practice quizzes and read some of the materials that the authors of our textbook have made available to help you study as you're learning the material that we cover. It's totally optional, but it's there if you need it and would like that resource. There is a recommendation here from me just about using Dropbox.com. If you're looking for a good technology solution for saving and accessing all of your files in the cloud, then I would highly recommend Dropbox.com. You can use that link to get to that and get more information. I use it. It's fabulous. No more flash drives for me. I don't have to move things on a stick from one computer to the next. I can just log in anywhere there's internet access and access all my files on Dropbox.com. And on my own personal computers, both at home and at the office, I can access all of those files offline as well. And then they sync back up to the cloud whenever I do get an internet connection. It's fabulous. There are a couple of discussion boards here. One is a Q&A forum. If you have any general course related questions, please feel free to utilize this space to post your question, and I will respond to that publicly so that everyone can see not only your question but my answer, because others may have a similar question to you. And then there's a discussion board here where we can share things together. If you would like prayer or to give praise for something going on in your life. I know that you're all very busy, and I am busy too, and that's okay because we are going to go through this class 1 week at a time, one task at a time, and have a good time doing it and learning a lot of good things. Let me click on week 1 and just show you a little bit about the content here more specifically. So as that loads, here we go. So this first week of class, I'm asking you to reflect on the National Education Technology Standards for Teachers, and the assignment is all outlined here. There are a couple of examples of ways that students have done this assignment for me in the past that I felt were exemplars that you could learn from and model after. Then there's the Dropbox for you to turn that in. So here's where you start to see dates. This is the due date that assignment is expected. It's due by October 5th at 11:59 p.m. If you're running a little bit late behind that, the Dropbox won't lock you out. You can still drop it in. It will just be marked as late, as coming in past the deadline. So you can still submit in the Dropbox if that is the case. I don't have hard cutoff deadlines to where I'm not accepting those papers. Then you're going to see a discussion topic, and there are always 2 options to consider, and you can pick one of the prompts to respond to. So either one. You can talk about online news and social networking, or this topic of reality or fantasy. Pick one, post your response to the prompt, and then you'll be able to see the responses of the rest of your class and engage with them and have conversation back and forth through the discussion board. So it's a good way for us to get to know each other and discuss the issues at hand and things that are coming out of our text as you're reading, and just kind of wrestle with those questions about technology integration and how that works in school in a really practical way. Then there will also be listed the PowerPoint slides from our textbook. So again, these are just copies of the slides from the publisher. It doesn't have any of my voiceover or explanation. It's just a resource to you to use as a study guide as you're reading through the chapter in preparation for the quiz that's available. So the quiz does have a specific start date and time and end date and time. So pay attention to those and plan your time accordingly because you can't take the quiz any sooner than the start date, and you cannot take it any later than the end date. That actually will lock you out of the system and not let you take the quiz if you enter it past that time. One thing I want to point out to you is grades. So when you click on grades, you're going to see something somewhat similar to this. It will look a little different. As a student, you'll have a list of assignments down the left, and then as grades are entered and feedback is given, you'll see columns for that information towards your right side. Also on D2L, underneath the tab called Communication, click that link Communication in the orange bar, and then you can click on User Progress. And when you click User Progress, that's going to give you another way to view how you're keeping up with things in the class. It will show you the number of content items that are available and which ones that you have accessed. So if you've only looked at 2 of the 4 content area topics, it will tell you that you've got 50% completed as far as accessing material. It also repeats information to you about grades and gives you information on rubrics and assessments that have been applied when I was calculating your grade. So the user progress tool is very helpful, full of information as the class gets started and you start working through everything. So feel free to use that and reference that. Anytime you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Email is probably the quickest way right now. You can email me at rhonda.gregory@greenville.edu, and I will respond to your emails within 24 hours, sooner if possible, and even throughout the weekend to help you stay on track and answer your questions as you go through the class. I am very excited to be here, and I hope that you are too. and I hope you enjoy the class. Thank you.